Most people think dogs forgive everything, that no matter what you do, they'll come running back, tail wagging, eyes full of love. But the truth? There are some things a dog never forgets, and definitely doesn't forgive. You might think it's no big deal, just a moment of frustration or a harmless habit, but to them, it could be a permanent scar. These aren't just bad habits, they're emotional landmines. And if you've done even one of them, your dog might still be carrying that memory, even now. Let's break down the 9 things your dog will never forgive, starting with something that might surprise you. Physical punishment. Dogs don't hold grudges the way humans do, but they never forget how you made them feel. And if you've ever raised a hand, even once, that moment becomes burned into their memory. It's not just the pain of being hit, it's the shock, the betrayal. One second, they trusted you completely, and the next, they didn't know if you were safe anymore. What's worse? That fear doesn't go away when the moment ends, even if they seem fine afterward. That emotional wound can show up in other ways, like flinching, avoiding eye contact, or hesitating when you reach toward them. And over time, that fear erodes the bond you thought you had. Studies have shown that physical punishment doesn't make dogs more obedient. It just makes them more anxious. The trust you break in that split-second decision can take months, even years to rebuild. Some dogs never fully recover from it. Positive reinforcement builds loyalty. Physical punishment builds distance. And once that trust is gone, good luck getting it back. But rough handling isn't the only serious breach. Yelling or harsh responses. You might think your dog doesn't understand what you're saying when you yell, but they understand something far more powerful: your tone. When your voice suddenly shifts from calm to loud, their brain reacts instantly. Heart rate spikes, muscles tense. They may not know what they did wrong, but they do know you're angry. And that fear sticks with them. Some dogs will freeze, others will slink away or hide under furniture. Over time, repeated yelling creates a world where they never know what to expect. It's not discipline, it's confusion wrapped in fear. Even worse, yelling often teaches dogs to avoid you, not the behavior. They start to associate your presence with stress, not safety. You might be trying to correct a mistake, but in their eyes, you've just become unpredictable. Loud voices, sudden movements, emotional outbursts. It's overwhelming, and it lingers, even after you've calmed down. What seems like a quick release of frustration to you could be a lasting emotional shock for them. And just like physical punishment, harsh words can chip away at the bond you're trying to build. And it doesn't have to be loud to cause damage. Breaking consistency or changing the rules. Dogs thrive on routine. It's how they make sense of their world. When you feed them, when you walk them, where they sleep, what they're allowed to do. These daily patterns become the rules they live by. But when those rules keep changing, confusion turns into stress. One day they're allowed on the couch. The next day, they get scolded for it. Sometimes you let them jump up when you're excited. Other times, you push them away. To you, it's just the mood of the moment. To your dog, it's chaos. And chaos isn't just frustrating. It's emotionally exhausting. Inconsistent boundaries don't just confuse them. They erode trust. They stop knowing what's right. So they hesitate. They second guess. That hesitation can quickly turn into fear or anxiety, especially if mistakes lead to punishment. Dogs aren't wired to read our moods. They're wired to read our patterns. And when those patterns get unpredictable, so do their behaviors. What looks like disobedience might just be them trying to figure out which version of you they're getting today. Speaking of trust, removing their food or toys has a big impact. Snatching toys, food, or belongings. To you, it might seem harmless. Grabbing a toy out of your dog's mouth, pulling their bowl away mid-meal, or yanking something they shouldn't have. But to your dog, that moment can feel like betrayal. Dogs are deeply possessive of the things they value. Their favorite toy? It's not just an object. It's security. Their food? It's survival. And when you suddenly take those things without warning, especially in a harsh or rushed way, it can trigger something primal, a fear that what's theirs isn't safe anymore. that you might not be safe anymore. Over time, this kind of behavior can create deep emotional tension. Dogs may grow defensive, guarding their food or snapping when someone reaches near their toys, not because they're aggressive, but because they've learned they can't trust what's theirs to stay theirs. And that lack of safety breeds anxiety. It doesn't mean you can't take something away, but how you do it matters. Trade with something better. Use a calm voice. Make it a game. Respect their space. Because to them, trust isn't built on what you give. It's built on how you take. Next up, something many pet owners overlook: ignoring or emotional neglect. Dogs don't just want your attention, they need it. They're social animals, wired to bond, communicate, and feel included. So when you constantly ignore them, brush them off, or leave them alone for long stretches without interaction, it doesn't just hurt their feelings. It damages their sense of belonging. You might not even realize you're doing it. Maybe you're busy with work, scrolling through your phone, or just trying to get some peace. But to your dog, silence feels like rejection. Day after day of being overlooked sends one loud message: you don't matter right now. And that emotional void doesn't just fade away. It shows up in other forms: destructive chewing, constant barking, pacing, or even depression. Yes, dogs can get depressed. They sleep more, lose interest in toys, or stop wagging when they see you. That's not bad behavior. It's heartbreak. It's not about smothering them with attention every second of the day. It's about presence. A few minutes of focused connection, playing, training, or just sitting with them can mean everything. Because when dogs feel invisible, they don't just get sad. They lose trust in the bond they thought was unbreakable. And then there's handling their personal space, invading personal space, or forcing affection. Here's something most people don't realize. Many dogs don't like hugs. In fact, what feels affectionate to us, wrapping our arms around them, pulling them close, getting right up in their face, can feel threatening to them. Dogs aren't primates. They don't naturally hug, and they don't enjoy being restrained. When you lean in, grab their face, or squeeze them tight, it can trigger fear or discomfort, even if they stay still. Stillness doesn't mean they're okay with it. It often means they're tolerating it. Frozen because they don't know what else to do. Some dogs will give subtle signs, turning their head, licking their lips, pulling their ears back. Others might growl or even snap, not because they're mean, but because they're overwhelmed. And when that happens, it's easy for the dog to get blamed for bad behavior when really they were pushed past their limit. Loving your dog means learning how they want to be loved, respecting their space, reading their body language, and knowing that affection should be mutual, not forced. Now imagine compounding these with creating fearful associations, vet visits, leash, car rides. Your dog doesn't just remember what happens. They remember how it felt. And when everyday things, like the leash, the car, or even their crate, are constantly paired with fear or stress, those neutral objects become emotional triggers. Take the vet, for example. If every visit ends in pain, restraint, and cold handling, it's no surprise your dog trembles the moment you pull into the parking lot. But it goes further. If the only time you put on their leash is to drag them into the car and take them somewhere scary, that leash, once a symbol of walks and freedom, starts to feel like a trap. The same goes for crates, grooming tools, nail clippers, even certain tones of voice. If these things always come with fear, your dog will begin to resist them. Not because they're disobedient, but because they remember, and those memories don't fade easily. Fear associations dig deep. They can last for years, sometimes forever, unless they're gently replaced with positive experiences. It takes patience, repetition, and empathy to undo the emotional weight we unknowingly attach to simple routines. Deep-rooted habits take time to heal. Unpredictable emotional environment. Dogs are emotional sponges. They might not understand your words, but they feel your energy. And if your home is a roller coaster of sudden mood swings, tense silence, or unpredictable outbursts, it doesn't take long for your dog to feel like they're walking on eggshells. One moment you're laughing, the next you're slamming doors. Some days you're affectionate, other days you're distant. From your perspective, it's just life happening. But to your dog, it's instability. And instability breeds fear. Dogs crave consistency, not just in routine, but in emotional tone. They learn your patterns, your rhythms, your moods. And when those moods shift constantly, they never know what's coming next. That uncertainty makes them anxious, clingy, or even withdrawn. Some may start pacing, whining, or hiding in quiet corners. Others might act out, simply because they don't know how else to respond. Living in an emotionally unstable environment teaches them one thing: your presence doesn't always mean safety. And once they start to believe that, the damage is hard to undo. Finally, here's the last unforgivable act: flooding them in stressful situations. When a dog is afraid, forcing them to just deal with it doesn't make them braver. It makes them shut down. Whether it's loud fireworks, busy crowds, other aggressive dogs, or unfamiliar places, pushing your dog headfirst into overwhelming situations without preparation can leave emotional scars that don't heal easily. This kind of forceful exposure is called flooding, and it's one of the fastest ways to break your dog's trust. You might think you're helping them get used to it, but in reality, you're stripping away their sense of control. And when a dog feels helpless in the face of fear, that fear doesn't go away. It deepens. They may freeze, panic, lash out, or completely shut down. And the next time they're near that trigger, it might be even worse. Their world starts shrinking. Suddenly, walks become stressful. New places become dangerous. You become a source of anxiety instead of comfort. True confidence is built slowly, with patience, safety, and encouragement. Rushing the process doesn't teach resilience. It teaches fear. We've just covered the 9 things a dog will never forgive, from physical punishment and harsh words to breaking trust by changing the rules or invading their personal space. These aren't just minor slip-ups. They leave lasting marks on their emotions and your bond. Remember, your dog forgives, but they don't forget. That means every action, every moment, shapes how they feel about you, for better or worse. It's a powerful reminder to treat them with patience, respect, and understanding every day. So take a moment. What will you never forget? And more importantly, what kind of memories are you creating with your dog right now? If this video made you think, share it with other dog lovers and start the conversation. Because every dog deserves to feel safe, loved, and trusted.